Hello there everyone and welcome to Fairy Tale Florals Layering Guide video. So first up I have the 3D embossing folder and I've just embossed a white piece of cardstock using it. I'm then going to take the first of the stencils from the stencil set and I'm just going to line that up with the leaves that we have on the embossed image. I'm going to be using some of the Forest Glades ink to add through the stencil, through the leaves and also the part of the buds around the outside edge. So I am adding more of the ink just at the base of those leaves rather than at the tips. Once I'm happy with the amount of ink that I have, I'm then going to move that stencil over and this is going to line up with the flower that's at the bottom right. So for this layer here, I am going to be using the frosty pink ink. So I'm just going to use a small blending tool to add the ink through onto the flower and also the small part of that top bud image. Once that's done, I can remove the stencil and move on to stencil number 2. I'm going to be starting with the flower that's at the top, and this is on the top left-hand side. This is going to add in the first layer of the petals, and for this one here, I will be using the frosty pink ink. Once I'm happy with the amount of ink that I have there, I'm going to move the stencil over to the right portion of the stencil and line that up again on that top flower there. For this layer here, I will be using some of the cotton candy. So this is a slightly darker pink than before. And also we have that bud image at the bottom as well. Once that's done, we can move on to the third stencil. I'm going to line that into place on that top flower, and this is going to add in the third layer to that top flower and also the bottom bud. So for this layer here, I will be using the coral berry ink to add in that darker shade. Once that's done, I can move that stencil over, and this time we're going to go with the flower that's at the bottom left. So I'm just going to pop that into place. So for the first layer on this flower here, I am going to be using the frosty pink ink as before, like I did for the first layer of the other flowers. On this stencil, we also have the flower centers. So I'm just going to pop those into place onto the flower centers, and I'm going to go through the stencil using some of the marigold ink. So once that's done, we can remove that stencil and we're going to move on to the fourth one. We're just going to pop the second layer into place onto that bottom left flower. So for this layer here, I will be using the cotton candy ink. I'm just using a small blending tool to add the ink through the stencil. I'm going to move that stencil up and then we're going to add in the third layer to that bottom flower. Again, using the same colors as before. So I'll be using that coral berry ink to add that in there. Once that's done, we can move the stencil down and we're just going to add the second layer into the third and final flower that we have over to the right. So for the second layer here, I will be using that cotton candy ink just to add the ink through the stencil. Once I'm happy with the amount of ink that I have through there, all I need to do then is move the stencil up again and pop the rest of the petals into place. So this is going to add in the rest of the petals and also that small little piece on that bud that we can see there. So for this one here, I will be using the coral berry ink to add that through. Once that's done, I can remove the stencil and that is all of the layering complete. We really do hope this video helps. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you again really, really soon. Bye-bye.